Suddenly, I can hear a pin drop, which suggests it's time for me to begin the event. Uh, so glad you're all here. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm still Pete Jordan, proud president of Dutchess Community College, for those of you who have not met me yet. And I'm thrilled to share this space with you this evening as we come together for our annual State of the College event. Today's program will consist of 3 parts, okay? Some of you have been wondering what the seating arrangement is all about. Well, here goes. The first part of our event will be, hopefully, brief remarks from me. That's about 80 minutes or so. The second part will consist of a conversation between me and 3 of our outstanding students here at Dutchess Community College. The third part of our event will be a reception, light on booze, in the Ritz Lounge across the lobby. So, thank you for being here. Glad to see you all. I want to take a moment before I get into formal remarks to identify and recognize some distinguished guests who are with us today. And I may miss some folks because I've been trying to keep track while you were coming in, so I may have missed some individuals. We expect at some point Pavan Naidu, Director of Hudson Valley Intergovernmental Affairs, representing Governor Kathy Hochul today. I know we have with us Lydia Biskup, representing our New York State Senator, Rob Rollison. Yes. We have also Assembly Member A.J. Bipam, New York State Assembly, here with us. Greg Pulver, Deputy County Executive and representing our County Executive, Sue Serino. We have Legislator Stephen Caswell, and you'll hear that name again, who is representing the legislature. We have also with us Lisa Cole, legislator of Dutchess County. We expect Christopher Munn, to be joining us at some point. We also have County Comptroller Dan Amar Blair, who is with us. And I haven't seen Brian, Deputy Comptroller, but give him our best wishes, and we'll see him next time. We have Mayor Yvonne Flowers from the city of Poughkeepsie, who is here with us. Dr. Dwight Bonk, Superintendent of Wappingers Central School District, and Dr. Jody DeLucia, Superintendent of Dutchess County BOCES, who is with us as well. Among our trustees here at DCC, our chair, Angela Fleslin, sends her regrets. She's had an event that came up, but we also have with us our vice chair of the Board of Trustees, Michael Dupree, as well as Stephen Caswell. There goes that name again, who is also a Dutchess Community College trustee. Trustee Dara Cloud is with us this afternoon. She keeps moving around. And Trustee Michael McCormick is also with us as well. And finally, our student trustee, Ryan Shook, is with us as well. Ryan went with us to Washington on an advocacy trip, and he was the rock star of the show. And hopefully he'll tell you more about it because he will be on our panel. From the Dutchess Community College Foundation, we have David Weiss with us. Dave, did he leave? Right there, okay. And Dr. Sherry Wesley joining us. Representing the Dutchess Community College Association Board of Directors are Scott Schnackenberg, President, and Matt Palmentier. Is that Matt way in the back there? Yes, in those expensive seats. I'd like to invite members of the President's Cabinet at DCC, if you're in the room, please stand so that we can recognize you and celebrate you, because these are the folks whose wise counsel I seek daily, who help to lead the efforts of this college and keep us on track. We also have in the room faculty and staff. If you're a faculty or staff member, please stand so that we can celebrate these are the individuals who really make sure that DCC lives up to its mission of educating students and preparing them for the workforce and to be productive citizens within our economy. We also have with us student leaders. We're expecting Student Government President Amy Hina to join us, and Patricia Hurtado, who is the Chief Justice of our Student Government Association. Let's give all of these individuals a rousing round of applause. The year 2025 was another landmark year for Dutchess Community College. Guided by our strategic lenses, I'm not going to ask you, I'm not going to quiz you on them, but I'll tell you what they are. They're students, learning, community, and growth. So guided by these lenses, we continue to innovate and meet the higher education and career and technical education needs of our county and our region. Some notable accomplishments from last year include enrollment has continued to grow for the third consecutive year. We launched the SUNY Reconnect program, offering free community college to adults 25 to 55 years old who are pursuing in-demand, high-paying careers in 17 different fields. We've also launched the SUNY ASAP program. ASAP stands for Advancing Success in Associate Pathways. That program now provides wraparound services to 150 eligible students here at DCC, including financial support, personalized advising, and career development counseling, which we expect based on the formula for ASAP will lead to increases in our completion and graduation rates. Our aviation maintenance technician program is also growing by leaps and bounds. We now enroll 3 cohorts a year. Because of FAA restrictions, we're allowed to carry in each cohort as many as 24 students. And given the waitlist situation we were in, we have added a summer cohort, bringing our student population annually to over 60 students per year. We also recently acquired a retired Air Force T-1 Jayhawk jet to enhance the curriculum and student learning in that program. DCC also received $100,000 in state funding, thanks to the efforts of Assemblymember Jonathan Jacobson, to support the Green Team Poughkeepsie program, where local high school students earn college credits while working in our community garden here on campus, with the harvested produce benefiting our pantry. We also secured $1 million through the efforts of Assemblymember Dee Dee Barrett to expand our child care program, allowing for the placement of up to 16 infants ages 0 to 18 months of age. That's a population we haven't been able to serve since our child care program opened. This year, we already are witnessing momentum in our community engagement efforts. For Black History Month, we have hosted exceptional programming to honor Black history and raise cultural awareness. And I invite you to participate in any of these or other activities sponsored by the college. Of particular notice, I want to bring your attention to the culminating event for this year's Black History Month, which happens on March 4th from 6 to 7:30 in our Black Box Theater, which is across the hall. It is a stage reading for colored girls who have considered suicide when the rainbow is enough, written by Natasaki Shange, performed by DCC faculty, staff, and students, and directed by our very own instructor of performing arts, Ann Chris Warren. Please come out and support that program, as well as all of our other programs. We also hosted, for the first time ever, a living organ donor learning symposium and education fair to raise awareness about organ donation, welcoming donors, recipients, and healthcare partners, including Nuvance Health, WMC Health, and Weill Cornell Medical Center. Among the speakers were several of DCC's own, including Dr. Angela Fleslin, who is a DCC alumni and a former intensive care nurse working with heart transplant patients. She's also a member of the DCC class of 2006, and she is chair of the DCC Board of Trustees. Hardworking alum. We also had another alum from the class of 2006 speaking as keynoter at that event, none other than our alum, Muath Bashawi, who is currently a cardiac thoracic heart and lung transplant surgeon with Emory Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia. We also had our busy student trustee, who is also a living organ donor, as one of our speakers. And last but not least, Joya Ponticello, executive assistant to the Office of the President and Board of Trustees, who is currently an organ donor candidate. Our students continue to excel as well. 3 students, Maria Garcia Martinez, Deborah Lundy, Jasmine Thompson Bowen, were named finalists for the Vanguard Award, a statewide recognition to students excelling in fields that are considered non-traditional for their gender. Let's give them and all of these achievements a round of applause. Ensuring our students' persistence is vital to their timely completion and success. Over the last 2 years, our fall-to-fall retention rate for first-time full-time students has improved 5 percentage points from 5, yes, let's give it up, from 56.7% to 61.7%. This improvement results from cross-institutional culture that meets students where they are and commits to supporting them, helping them address unexpected barriers to persistence and completion, such as unexpected medical bills or transportation issues. Regarding access, DCC recently received $100,000 from SUNY to expand childcare availability in the evenings, and $10,000 to address student transportation insecurity. We look forward to continued collaboration with our local partners, including Day One, Early Learning Community, Astor Services, and the Dutchess County Early Childhood Education Coalition to advance Governor Hochul's child care initiative here in Dutchess County. These actions, supported by strategic investments, allows us to make significant progress towards our most ambitious goals. Just last month, our Board of Trustees approved further expansion of our career and technical education offerings through the Center of Excellence for Business, Industry, and Innovation, called affectionately here on campus, COBE. And this is the branding that we are moving forward with for our enterprise at Fishkill. Next academic year, we plan to launch or scale programs there, including degrees and micro-credentials for automotive service technicians, HVAC, cybersecurity, AI, quantum computing, and data science fields. In addition, we're expanding architecture, construction management, and business programs like entrepreneurship, all fields that offer tremendous potential for our graduates to meet the regional workforce needs. We are now in the design phase, and soon will embark on construction for our campus transformation project, reshaping the physical and academic landscape on this very campus. I extend our gratitude to our Board of Trustees, our county legislators, including those who are here and those who have moved off the legislature, for including County Executive Serino as well, and Governor Hochul for supporting this initiative, which will create 3 new centers of excellence on this campus. A center of excellence for nursing and health professions, including our brand new program in healthcare science, an associate's degree program that will serve as an additional pathway to medical careers. CAPE, the Center for Arts and Performance Excellence, along with a Learning Commons. Our centers of excellence foster collaboration among disciplines, enabling students to network and to gain real-world experience through internships, apprenticeships, clinicals, and practicums. This model creates environments that reflect real workplaces across healthcare, performing arts and media, building technologies, manufacturing, and public service, allowing students to explore academic pathways while earning credentials that stack into degrees efficiently. The pre-21st century focus for community colleges was access, the democratization of higher education. By 2010, our commitment across the community college sector broadened to include student access, but also student success, culminating now in this era of community colleges in the trifecta of the modern community college mission that is focused on access, success, and impact. As a sector, our impact on individuals and communities encompass measures such as economic growth and development, student enrollment, retention rates and graduation rates, employment rates, and overall economic impact. I'd like to share a brief video with you detailing some of the macro level impacts that DCC is having on our community and region. Well, so that we don't keep you longer than we have to, towards the end, we can play the video once we get our technical issues resolved. But the impact that, that we have as a college that you'll see hopefully later in this video, offers data points that are significant. They may not capture our true impact on an individual, but they tell a story. But let's talk a little bit about the impact that we're having on individuals here at DCC. How many of you in your college experience met a faculty member that made a difference in your life or career? Show of hands. Wow. Raise your hand if you gained new insights through a college course that transformed your thinking. Raise your hand if you found mentors or lifelong friends in college. Wow. How do you quantify that kind of personal growth? In fact, how do you measure the opportunity that DCC offers a single mother and student to pursue a degree or certificate and better career options while keeping employment, all because she has access to quality, safe, and affordable childcare? We could quantify the number of students utilizing these resources, but the metric falls short of capturing the newfound hope that mother feels. It overlooks the long-term positive impact on future generations inspired by her aspirations and the ways her courage and sheer grit might motivate others. DCC, like many community colleges, face financial and existential challenges. Our current fiscal outlook is strong, fueled by growing enrollment and a solid fund balance. However, shifting demographics are a reality we must confront. As we seek savings, we must also prioritize investment in our people, programs, physical assets, and partnerships. Ultimately, we cannot navigate this path alone. Collaboration with local, state, federal partners, along with industry leaders and educational colleagues, is essential for the sustainable financial future of our college, and others, I should say. As a college, we must innovate and adopt an entrepreneurial approach to our work and the use of our assets. In summary, the state of our college today is sound, filled with hope and promise, yet we must be vigilant. The success we achieve at DCC is possible because of collective efforts of many in our college community, region, and even in this room, including our DCC Foundation and our DCC Association Board of Directors. Rather than just touting achievements, I'd like to invite 3 of our outstanding students to join me here on stage. They'll share their journeys, challenges, fears, dreams, growth, and the impact of our community on their lives. Please join me in welcoming Maka Arnold, a performing arts student, Adrian Sanchez Perez, an aviation maintenance technician student, and Ryan Shook, a criminal justice major and DCC's current student trustee. Let's give them a round of applause. So here's the exciting part of our conversation. So why don't we begin by having you or students introduce yourselves to our audience.
Sure. Is this on? Great. Hello, I'm Maka Arnold. I'm a performing arts major. I use he, they pronouns. This is my final semester at DCC. I will be graduating this May.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adrian Sanchez. I am currently in AMT, Aviation Maintenance Technician program. I used to be in engineering. That's what I came here first for, but I transferred my major this semester. I go by he, him. I reside here at Conklin at Dutchess Community College, and I am expected to graduate on 2027 June, I believe so.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ryan Shook. I came here in 2024 after 10 years of not going to school. It is great to be back. It's been a lifelong journey, and I'm a criminal justice major now, and I'm just hoping to change the world someday.
So thank you all for agreeing to put your lives and feelings out here for our audience. I'm sure that they'll appreciate your perspectives on Dutchess Community College. Let's begin with a question that I think any or all of you can answer. Our students bring many experiences, different experiences and life experiences, as well as personalities to the campus. It's one of the things that makes college campuses the learning labs that they are. So tell us, here at DCC, what does it mean to be here as a student and feel as though you have a voice, you're being heard, and you're part of a community?
I guess I'll start with this. It feels like there's a gimme answer there where generally my voice is being heard right now. I'm on a panel, but I guess for me it's how inclusive the friends I have made here and the different backgrounds that I've met at DCC. I've met other people who are also from New York City, and when you're from New York City, there's a shot in the dark what borough you're going to be from, and then there's a shot in the dark what neighborhood you're going to be from, and every single neighborhood in New York City is a different playing field. And then you add upstate New York, and you add other states and other neighborhoods from there, and I've met way too many people, and all of them will be coming further into my life. And I guess for me, it's just, I have these new people in my life, and I have this place to put my voice. And unfortunately, and fortunately, I can talk a lot. So DCC giving me the grounds to really put my voice out there in not only my profession, my major that I'm doing, performing arts, but also in the residence hall where we are able to do these different sort of events, and we're able to give feedback on everything, and they truthfully listen. And then on top of that, being able to speak with any of my faculty, and they'll bring it to their cohorts, and then things go around in a positive manner, of course. But just the general comfortability that I have speaking with not just the people I've met, but also faculty, staff, the people that I live with, all of these places where I'm not turned down, but told yes and given more space to grow and more space to really look around.
Okay. Good. Adrian or Ryan, anyone else want to take a stab at that question?
Can you repeat the last part at the end?
So, what does it mean to be here at DCC as a student and feel that you have a voice, that you're seen, that you are part of a community?
Honestly, it feels a little life-changing. Before stepping foot in DCC, I had no voice. I was quiet. I just had the headphones in and just did my work. But I took the leap forward and really showed up. And because of that, I was able to go to Washington, D.C. and advocate for our students in a way that I personally never thought was possible. Because of that trip, I am in a group chat with 50 other student trustees, and we're still in communication. And it gives me hope to think about what we can do with that network. But back to the question, it's life-changing. It makes me feel like I have a purpose.
I would definitely have to agree with both here, my colleagues here. And I think diversity and inclusion is something that Dutchess Community College does very well. I think me as also a residential student that dorms here, there is a lot of people from the city that we share similar experiences, but there's also a lot of people from across the nation. I know some people from Michigan that have come here for the aviation program. I know people from Rochester, Buffalo, all across New York State as well. But I think inclusivity and diversity and the ability to express yourself is something that our college is very great. And I think another reason why that is for the opportunities that Dutchess Community College offers. One of the main reasons I was able to get here, even on the stage, or even take the classes here, is because of ASAP program, such as TRIO, as well as C-STEP, EOP. They're the main reasons why I could actually afford college, and this may be a reason why many other people here could actually afford college too. So the inclusivity comes from many reasons, but it's many reasons that Dutchess Community College people, faculty, and everybody that I heard of is really proud of. It's something that we have been working hard for. Even me, I used to work at the FDA desk at Conklin Hall, and I've made sure to make everybody feel welcomed and inclusive into this space that we have here. But even here, being on the stage and being able to speak freely about how I feel as a student, this is a prime example of what inclusivity and freedom really is here at this college. And I would definitely agree it's a life-changing experience, especially me. I feel like Mac would also agree here that coming from the city and coming up here, it's a vastly different experience. But overall, it's quite welcoming, and it's a space where you could easily feel yourself being connected and actually heard by your companions or even this community as a whole.
Perhaps we can pick up on the aspect of your education that is about preparing you for whatever field you choose to pursue. Talk to us about what it means to be here studying at DCC in whatever your major program is. Talk to us about that experience. What are you getting out of it? And how do you think you will fare after DCC if you have a crystal ball?
Testing. All right. So this does work. If I had a crystal ball and I could see into the future, well, for one, this criminal justice program has been able to let me speak to people I've never thought speaking to. Case in point, the DC trip. I was able to advocate to Pat Ryan, Mike Lawler, and Senator Gillibrand, and in doing so, I was able to, again, meet these people I never thought I'd be able to meet. And that's because of Dutchess. I never had the opportunity to put myself out there and advocate for thousands of other students. And I might be getting some crazy internships in the future because of this. I'm connecting with other congressmen, and it's a journey.
When it comes to the crystal ball, I'm going to performing arts, so I have no idea what the future holds. It is a constant gig to gig, or my technical skills will carry me somewhere. And when it comes to technical skills, that is 90% of what I've learned at DCC. 10% has been learning to put myself out there. My first semester here, we did Bring It On the musical. On my audition form, said, please don't cast me. I'm scared of the stage. That still stays true. Still scared of the stage, right? There's just the difference of I'm scared to fall off and not scared to be on it. I'm accepting. I'm accepting that the more I stand on this stage, the more comfortable I'll be going forward. And everything that this program has given me, everything that the performing arts has given me, has generally just been confidence. Yes, there's the technical skills, the Meisner technique. I will absolutely take that in my acting journey. But it's been the confidence and the skill set to really put myself in these positions. As of recently, DCC, unlike many of the other SUNY colleges that we have in the state, does the ACTF program, American Collegiate Theater Festival, and we do it as a class. And it is phenomenal. It's this theater festival that roughly 10 to 20 students go on, and you're just doing theater. And that's everything that a performing arts major could ask for. And we do it for the price of a class when some of these students are paying like out of pocket roughly $1,000 just for 1 week. And it's phenomenal. It's one of the best things I've ever done. I've made so many connections across the state, across other states. I've secured shadowing one of the musicians that plays in New York. There's so many opportunities that I've gotten through this, and I know that even though I've picked a career path that isn't stable, that I'm constantly fighting this uphill battle, DCC has set me up. I've met so many people who, if I need a job, if I need a gig, that's all it is. That's networking. And I know I'm prepared for it at this point.
My academic experience here so far has been a little rocky. It's been fluctuating. But for one reason, I believe it's a great thing. I came here in with the mindset of being a civil engineer for the long term. But the engineering classes here really did show me the reality of how it really is. For the first semester, I learned a lot what engineering was and what I will be expected to do in the long term. And it gave me a lot of clarity. And also for my classmates as well, it gave us a real perspective as to what it is expected to be in the long term for the career. And after that experience, I was a bit conflicted. I was a bit confused as to what I really wanted to do for my life until retirement. So for my first semester, I would be greatly grateful for my engineering professor because it really did bring to light what I am going to be doing. And I've come across many people here at Dutchess Community College, friends, colleagues, and so on, and they mentioned the AMT program here. And surprisingly, I was in luck to come to the one college upstate here that offered this one program for AMT. And from there on, I realized that life is really a mystery, and there's only a little bit that you could take control of. But overall, I would agree that what I've learned is to be confident and to really be, hopeful for what is coming for the future. So now I'm on the journey of doing AMT, working around with airplanes and so on. And I'm really grateful for everybody that I've come across, even including my debate coach. She has really taught me to be confident about speaking openly and so on. So yeah, the life is really random. So far, I've been taught to be confident and so on. Yeah.
So, Adrian, you talked about your debate coach, and you are a student in the AMT program. It would strike the average person as a sort of left turn, or how do you make the connection? How do you see yourself using the skills you've developed in and through the debate club to advance your career?
Undoubtedly, I believe in every field, communication is one of the most essential things that somebody needs to learn. No matter whether you're in theater or criminal justice, engineering, or so on, communicating with companions, with anybody around you, even your manager, is essential to being truthful for what you want to express, maybe expressing ideas or anything down the line. But for the debate thing, or the debate club that I've been into, it has taught me a lot of being clear with what you're trying to express, to mitigate misunderstandings, to get thoughts across the board. And I feel like that's something essential that everybody needs to really learn in a way. It's very helpful, not only in the academic space, but in the personal space as well. And I've enjoyed it so far. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Ryan, I'm going to pick on you for a second. You are a student trustee. You've been part of student government here on campus. What's the attraction there, and how have you used that platform to help build community, support your peers on campus, advocate? You used that word before, but not necessarily outside of DCC, but within DCC.
So, as a criminal justice major, it kind of shapes how I see the world. I look at everything happening today, and it does weigh on me. I see the injustice. I see the agency stretching constitutional boundaries. I see people with power escaping accountability while the average person faces consequences for far less. There are human rights violations, corruption, and division and real-world suffering across the world. I took an oath to defend the Constitution, so watching these things unfold hits me very deeply. But instead of letting that push me towards cynicism, it pushes me towards service. I may not be able to change the entire world, but I can change it in the way I show up in the roles I do have. So I stay organized, I attempt to plan ahead, sorry, Joya, and I take my responsibilities seriously because students deserve someone who represents them with empathy and clarity. The leadership for me is not about leaning left or right, but it's about leaning forward, with humanity and heart when everything around you feels cold and mechanical. That mindset is what allows me to balance this and be a student trustee.
Is there a question that you wish I'd asked you?
Are you asking me personally?
All of you. While you think about that, I have one last question for you, because we will turn the tables here in a second. They've been just dying to ask me a whole set of questions. But given your experiences here as students, what's missing in your experience? What do you think you have missed that you would advise me and or faculty and staff that we need to work on, do better, improve? Is there anything that you can think about? Adrian?
Yeah, so beforehand, there was a thought that I wanted to get across of tutoring or centers for academic achievement. That is one thing that I see many people wanting to be improved. But now you briefly mentioned that you are expanding the centers for academic achievement for various different fields, and I think that is one of the most positive things that could have been done. I know many students who come here at late classes, early classes, that may not even have the opportunity to go to places here on campus that are actually open. But this expansion of different programs for aiding students in the academic field, I think, is the greatest thing that is being done right now.
Okay.
So I would like to bring up how bringing the student voice to the board. I bring the student voice to the board by listening and not assuming. I talk to students everywhere across campus. The cafeteria, club meetings, the gym, hallways, random conversations in between classes. I pay attention to the themes because when students from completely diverse backgrounds repeat the same concerns, it means something real is happening. And the truth is the world we live in makes this work even more important. People feel ignored on a national level. They see the injustice at the highest levels. They see the inequality, the corruptions, and inconsistency in how systems treat people. The students carry that feeling with them into college, and it affects how safe they feel. It affects how much they speak up. It shapes how much trust they place in leadership. So when I bring their voices to the board, I want to make sure it's not just numbers or summaries. I try to bring the emotion, the impact, and humanity that often gets lost in decision making. Students deserve to feel seen. My job is to make sure that the board sees the real people behind that data. That's it. Thank you.
Anyone else wants to take that?
Feels very pointed.
I'm sorry?
That feels very pointed. Truthfully, the only thing that comes to mind is a bit more transparency with the program of development, I guess. When you are attempting an associate's degree and you are told in high school it's a 2-year program, a bachelor's is a 4-year program, that does not prepare you for the 64 credits and the 7 different amalgamations of how you are supposed to get them. And I personally wasn't told till I got to college that the average time for an associate's degree is 2.5 years. And I think this is something that most colleges could improve on, but generally just how you display the academic progress, how to set up these classes, how to set up your schedules, a bit more guidance for students to figure out what their best plan of attack is. Because I had to trial and run a lot of my first semester of, can I do morning classes? No, I can't. I can't do them. And that's not something you're really prepared for when you go into college. Every high school teacher tells you, oh yeah, it's gonna be 10 times harder. And some of it is. The other half of it is I have 7 extra hours on one day, and then I have 7 classes on the next. And I just don't think colleges prepare students enough for that, especially when we have full days for orientation and we have these specific rundowns that we're supposed to give students, and then they're still going in blind and they still don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for allowing me to learn from you and to benefit from your experiences. Now it's time for us to turn the tables, and you can ask me the questions that you have for me.
Thank you. I would love to start, actually. It's a nice question, I promise. Dr. Jordan, what drew you to higher education, and specifically being the president of DCC?
Very good question. So when I started college, and it's not going to be a long story, so I'm not going back to 100 years ago. But when I started college, my only goal was to become an English or history teacher. But when I entered college and had to work to pay my way through college, along with Pell Grants and so forth, as a first-generation student, I had to take on jobs. And my first job in college was being a server in the cafeteria. I got to work with the food service manager in terms of setting menu and schedules and all of those kinds of things. And then at lunch and dinner time, I served dinner. But I moved on from that job to admissions tour guide and residence hall RA and residence hall director and so forth. And through that experience, I got exposed to the world or the careers that exist in higher education. And it turns out that when I graduated, I was offered my first job in higher education at my alma mater. So the moral of my story, which drives me to this day, is that we as college leaders, faculty, staff, trustees, and friends of the college need to provide students with the kinds of experiences that you've talked about, because being first gen, we don't know, as you just said, about the intricacies of, what's a credit, or whose births are, what's all of that. So exposing students to different opportunities is what the model of centers of excellence is trying to address, creating pathways and providing experiences and so forth. As far as what brought me to DCC, it was the fact that when I interviewed with trustees and with members of the college community, I felt a connection. I felt that this was a place that was of a growth mindset, and knowing all that I knew, having been a college president before, about what it takes to succeed in community college leadership, I knew I needed to be in a place where there was innovation happening and people were committed and had a sense of direction and all of that. And I think I found that here, and I still believe that.
Thank you.
So briefly, you mentioned expansion of certain majors in micro-credentials such as HVAC and automotive technician, but you also briefly mentioned something about AI, so inclusion of AI within the careers. So as we know, for the half decade now, AI has grown to such a large extent.
Right.
And as a president, what do you see AI having an impact on DCC alumni and their future employment rates?
Okay, so we hear all the time these days that AI is going to take the jobs of college graduates. I believe strongly that AI isn't going to take the jobs of college graduates if we prepare graduates or students to know how to use AI effectively. And I have to say that we are all in learning mode about AI at this point. So colleges and universities have a long ways to go in terms of getting up to speed, because the technology has outpaced our learning to a great extent. But the fact is that AI, as I see it and understand it, is a real sophisticated search engine, right? But that engine needs the power of intellect, of compassion, of ethics, okay, and empathy in order to make it work, okay? I can take a speech and dump it into Copilot and have it provide clarity and what have you, but it's not going to evoke the emotions that I want to share with my audience, right? So there will be a place for DCC graduates going forward. We just need to make sure that as a college, as a faculty and staff and leadership, we are providing that education. And we need to do that in a way that allows for not only the students who are coming to us perhaps after you all have left, but we need to invite back graduates who may be struggling with this technology or afraid of it or what have you. That's a real opportunity for us as a college to be the graduate school of choice in a space where technology is supplementing or complementing the work that is happening in the world. Does that answer your question? Does that help?
So you mentioned you were also a Pell recipient. Why is protecting and strengthening the Pell Grant and other programs that increase access to our higher education such an important priority for community colleges like us?
Because our society, our world, and more immediately, our community, county, and region needs talent, right? And it's really important that we don't leave talent behind or on the table. And so it is about our community investing in growing the talent that we need to create the kind of livelihood and economic growth and development that we need. I encourage you to talk to our mayor of the city of Poughkeepsie or our deputy county executive about, what drives communities like ours. And part of the reason that I've chosen to work in community colleges is because I know that I can have a greater impact on economic development and workforce development, the community that we are part of. I can influence that by working with students and preparing them for the jobs of the future because our community needs that talent. And at a federal level, part of the reason why I will go to Advocacy Day or week or month, whenever it's happening in DC or in Albany, or with our legislators, is because it is really important for all of us, for the common good, that we nurture talent. And DCC, more importantly, is critical in all of that because we know that when talent leaves Dutchess County or the Hudson Valley, it's gone, okay? So we need to be in a place to provide for the growth of that talent. And programs like Pell and TAP and all of those programs make it possible for individuals like myself
And myself.
right, to find upward mobility. I didn't grow up thinking I want to be a college president. I didn't know what college presidents did. And when I found out, I stayed away from it because the responsibilities seemed really daunting. But my passion for really serving our community and building community and strengthening communities outweigh that fear.
Thank you.
In your speech, you mentioned a plethora of new programs coming to DCC. what do you think are DCC's greatest assets for students? And how do we ensure those assets continue to be relevant in spite of rapid technological advances and economic uncertainty?
Okay, I'm going to cheat because you gave me the answers. No, seriously. The answer to that question is in everything that you've talked about. Part of our assets here is that we teach students not only technical skills, but we give them the essential skills they need to dream, to lead, to function in society, to communicate, right? To use their voices. That's part of the liberal arts grounding of a DCC education. And while we will continue to add programs that lead to better employment for members of our community, under my watch, I'll make sure that those programs, and I know that our board members will not allow me to do otherwise, that we continue to ground the work that we do in the liberal arts tradition and general education core. So that's one asset. Another is, you talked about diversity, right? The diversity of thought, of cultures, ethnicity, all of that makes for a powerful asset for any employer. Think of what employers need to do. They need to solve problems, move products, and so forth. But they need people who are going to be able to help them connect with the communities and the customers that they have. And those customers are diverse. They speak different languages. DCC, Scott may know this, Scott Schnackenberg may know the number of languages that our students speak, but I know we have students representing upwards of 100 different nationalities attending this college. That's power, because for any employer who gets a DCC grad, if we do our jobs well and right, you would have learned how to function in a society where you can work with anyone.
Thank you.
Okay. I was given the 5-minute card 10 minutes ago, or maybe 15. So it's time for us to wrap up. But I wanted to ask students if they had anything else that they'd like to share with our audience before we move to the last part of our program.
To everyone listening, remember this. The world changes when ordinary people choose to move. If you want something better, take that leap of faith and build it. You are not as small as you think.
So on that note, I'd like to, I'm sorry, did you want to say?
Very small thing.
Okay.
Ryan said it more formally, but I also wanted to say thank you for all the work that you do, for the students that you lead, for the students that you have helped grow. And from a student who has definitely sat in many of your offices and has conversed with many of you, thank you for the impact that you choose to have on your communities. And thank you for continuing to have these conversations and be open to these conversations from not only students, but your peers and your cohorts, and even the people you, for lack of a better term, can dislike. And thank you for having these open minds, and thank you for continuing to change and grow and wanting to change and grow and make more. That's all.
So I got a message that in my effort to make sure I recognize all of our distinguished guests, I did overlook someone. Can I embarrass legislator Brendan Lawler by asking him to stand? And yeah, let's make sure that everyone knows that he was present. So we'll tell the chair of the legislature that you were here. We'll even write you a note. But let's again give our students a round of applause. And my parting message to each of you is that you make us all proud. And you ask how I got here and why I chose higher education. It's because of this, you, okay? This is why I chose higher education above everything else. And I will ask you, if we don't have another conversation, I know that 2 of you will be graduating, but remember where you got your academic and educational start as the post-secondary education here at DCC. Reach back, give back, tell friends about us, right? But keep the faith and know that you are able to do whatever you set your minds to. And finally, besides telling friends about us and keeping the faith, send funds. Thank you all. I invite you to join us across the hall for some refreshments and further conversation. I'm sure that because we didn't give you an opportunity to ask our students questions, you have a ton of questions for them. And so please use the opportunity to catch up. Thank you all for being here.